Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today I want to unbox for you Vampire the Masquerade Chapters by Flyos Games. This is a role-playing game in a box. Let's take a look at what's inside. This box is exceedingly heavy for its size because it is jam-packed with everything you need to play out a role-playing mix board game campaign adventure with countless chapters, side quests, and different endings possible. They have a free web app now that can replace the physical booklets in this box, complete with updated errata, and I would say with the rulebook to remind you how to do as it asks, and all of the cards and dice of this board game. I think following the chapters through the app is where I will start, and the app, from what I can tell, will offer future chapters for this game. Nowadays, the board game does come with an extra booklet that outlines all the errata they have adjusted for better gameplay, so you do not need the app if you wanted to use the paper copy instead. The game is set in modern Montreal, Canada, except of course it has vampires hiding amongst the regular human people. And the characters you play are going to be vampires that are, for the most part, trying to live among humans rather than simply prey upon them, and have started this adventure with the hope of resolving issues caused from a unknown resurgence of evil. That is, of course, as long as their hunger doesn't get the better of them. You have pre-made characters, each with their own unique backstory that you could pick from, or you can make your own. I think when learning the game, though, you should simply choose one of the pre-made characters. These guys are really well done. This box has 8 different character miniatures to choose from, with the option to get character expansion boxes if you don't want to choose from the 8 individual characters that come in here. I would say that this is a role-playing game first and foremost because of the dialogues that you engage in, the combat that you sometimes can't avoid, and the descriptive layout of each scene, the non-player characters' treatment of you that depends on your choices, and the experience points gained that allow you to level up your character from its base stats in any direction that you see fit. All of the cards within this box does the job of the narrator or game master that would have been making the choices in the original Vampire the Masquerade RPG that this was recreated from. If you like mystery and danger and the macabre, and of course being a vampire that sometimes has more than just blood on his or her mind, while still having to fight those bloodlusty urges, then this might just be your thing. You can do this on your own, or you could do it with a friend or friends. Initially, the tutorials of how to play are solo adventures, where you get to learn more about your character, on top of learning how to play the game. And of course, what caught my eye right away was the level of detail in each of the miniatures in this set. To get you a little more acquainted with the characters, let's have a little look at their summary. Thomas Chartrand often found himself in trouble with the law. He rarely passed a week without spending at least one night in a cell for some transgression or another. As he got older, and some would argue wiser, Thomas found his calling as a leader in the workforce. His pragmatic views and skills at mediating disputes between unions and management even led him to a seat at the trade union center. Thomas was lured out of a bar during a rather rowdy night and was embraced. Thomas despises all forms of abuse. His years of negotiations came in handy upon his return to Montreal, where he now acts as the speaker for the Anarchs when treating with the Camarilla. Camarilla just being the vampires of the society. Erin Conway. Headstrong and unwilling to back down from any challenge, when Erin was in her early 20s, the Oka crisis began and Erin was on the front lines. When the army forced the defenders to abandon their barricades, Erin went home defeated. She found her house had been broken into. Inside was a man dressed in a Canadian Army uniform, holding her brother's lifeless body. Unfortunately, the soldier proved to be more than human. Yet, despite it all, she fought tooth and nail to the bitter end, and that may well be what saved her. Erin wonders why the man was spying on her, but she nonetheless remains grateful for his embrace. Now gifted with the supernatural resilience and some wicked claws to boot, Erin is determined to be strong and to stop at nothing in finding her brother's killer. Growing up, Harold Beaulieu kept to himself, finding solace in puzzles and neo-noir movies from the 40s. His life as a psychologist was mostly uneventful until his embrace, which exasperated his already troublesome anxiety, but also bestowed upon him an insight beyond the reach of humans. The kindred community of Montreal, kindred being the vampires, often looked down on Harold, perceiving him as a fragile vampire one word away from becoming a mess. However, unbeknownst to them, whether through visions or his incredible deductive skills, he can discern the true motives behind a kindred's actions with little effort, and he always stays one step ahead. A renowned opera singer during the Cultural Revolution of the 60s, Luciana Ricci was walking home from an especially triumphant performance in Montreal when she heard the pleas of a beggar hidden in a nearby dark alcove. She ignored them. Irony and punishment was ever a vice of Luciana's sire, and as his fangs sank into her neck, he made her part of the ugliness she so despised. Her luxurious past was replaced by a solitary existence in abandoned corners of the sewers. Her mastery of the burgeoning metro system and unparalleled knowledge of the expanding Montreal underground, Luciana found new purpose among the Camarilla as an informant from behind enemy lines, though mirrors were forevermore a painful reminder of what she had become. Nico Miller. After an identity crisis, Nico became a talented artist who specialized in both painting and sculpture. She wasn't particularly famous and could barely afford the essentials. It was during this time that Nico's close friend Philippe Carras told her he was a vampire. Nico begged Philippe to embrace her, hoping to see how the vampire condition would alter her art. Hesitant at first, Philippe made Nico wait, but eventually relented and embraced her one night during a retro party. The recent disappearance of Philippe and other vampire acquaintances has affected Nico deeply, and she now strives to seek justice for her associates and discover who is responsible for their disappearance. Jade Lynn Duplessis. While alive, she was a brilliant student of medicine at McGill University. Jade specialized in microbiology, more specifically in hematology and blood disorders. Her research gave her the opportunity to speak at the annual Hematology Convention in Atlanta, Georgia. Her ambition and studious persona saw her sought after, and the Tremere got to her first, preying on her thirst for knowledge to drive her to blood sorcery. Using her prior knowledge of hematology combined with her newly acquired knowledge of blood resonance, Jade has begun studying the link between vampiric powers and the emotional state of their prey. And this is the character that I've chosen to play in this game. Samuel Armstrong, before being made into a vampire, is a rich lawyer, a job he kept as a cover even after his embrace. Seeing the opportunity as a way to increase his dignitas, Samuel volunteered to move from Vancouver to Montreal to act as a mediator at the court. To Samuel's dismay, he's learned how poorly the prince is managing his domain. He now spends his nights putting out the metaphorical fires that burn across Montreal. Thanks to his diplomacy and natural leadership skills, his tireless efforts have made him the person to see when a problem emerges. He knows he is treading a dangerous line, but to Samuel, the reputation of his entire bloodline is at stake, and he will not sit back while an incompetent upstart ruins it for everyone. Gabe Tremblay. Gabriel is a caitiff, which means he has no inherent clan nor any of the characteristics associated with one. He's amnesic and can't recall much about his past. All he knows is that he was embraced back when the Sabbat were in charge. Normally, caitiff are looked down on, viewed with pity, or outright rejected by other kindred. However, Gabe's good looks and jaded attitude saw him taken in by Betty. Luckily or unluckily for him, since Betty knows about everyone and everything. Even though her social vivacity means she never shuts up, Gabriel is happy to use her for his own protection and to help him navigate kindred society in the hope of uncovering his past. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like. If you want to check out the videos that I put out in the future about this, make certain to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell because I put out all sorts of hobby videos, which if you're going to be painting these models at all, might be useful to you because painting videos is what I do a lot of. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Make certain to let me know which character you think you would play based on the synopsis. I'm going to go with Jade, like I said, and I hope you enjoy the little solo adventure I'm going to do. It's just so well made, based on all of what I've heard. It's so well made, I'm excited to try it myself. So I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! Thank you to the people of the darkness that help this channel continue. You instantly feel more evil when you're wearing this.